Hi everyone, and welcome to this tutorial on how to set up a meeting in Zoom. This will be helpful both for one-off meetings and to create a meeting that repeats again and again, for instance, for one of your classes. So here we go. I'm going to open up my web browser and I'm going to navigate to zoom.us. This is going to be our HQ for all things Zoom. When I arrive here, the first thing I'm going to do is sign in using my Friends Seminary Google credentials. So I clicked on sign in. Instead of typing them in here, I'm going to go ahead and click on this sign in with Google button. And I'll make sure to choose my Friends Seminary teacher account. All right, so here we are in Zoom. And oftentimes you'll immediately land on the meetings area of your Zoom page. Sometimes it might take you to profile. Okay, if so, just click on meetings. And you'll see a list of all your upcoming already scheduled meetings. One thing that's interesting to note is even if, for instance, something is scheduled for later today or next week, you can actually start meetings before they're scheduled. This will be important to note for later. To schedule a new meeting, let's click on Schedule a New Meeting. Again, I said that this could be helpful for both one-off meetings or for repeated meetings, for instance, for one of your classes. I'm going to make this example about a repeated meeting for a class. So maybe I'll call this Algebra 1, Section 2. I'm not going to put in a meeting description here. I am going to, and we're forced to, determine a specific time, but like I mentioned before, even though there's a time listed, you can start the meeting at a time other than the one listed here. So I'm just going to leave this as August 7th at 8 a.m., which is in about a half an hour. The duration of the meeting is also not particularly important. The meeting ends when you end it. Okay, if this were a one-off meeting, I would not click this button here because it's one-off, but since this is going to be an example about a class, I'm going to click on recurring meeting. Now, it very well may be the case that your class doesn't meet at the same hour of each day. For instance, maybe it meets Monday at 9 a.m. and then Thursday at 11 a.m. So it would be challenging to choose something like daily or weekly because, well, the time of day changes. What I would suggest is just to click on No Fixed Time. No fixed time means this meeting will always be available for you to start whenever you'd like to start it. And so if your class meets on Monday at 9 a.m. and Thursday at 11 a.m., you just keep on starting it at those times and the meeting will be up and going, ready for your student to join. Okay, meeting ID. You have two options. You can choose your personal meeting ID, and some people really like to use their personal meeting ID for everything, for all their classes, for all their drop-in hours, for all their meetings. It has the added benefit of simplicity. Students and colleagues are always navigating using the same link and same ID, but it means that maybe someone might inadvertently drop in on a meeting of yours that you weren't intending. So I encourage you to consider using this, but if not, you can have Zoom generate a meeting ID automatically. Okay, security. We are all required to have a passcode with all of our meetings. So let's make sure that that is clicked. Usually, it will give you a 6-digit randomized numeric passcode, but you can click and make it whatever you like. Let's also make sure that the waiting room is yes enabled for all our meetings. Okay, video. When you click these on or off, it just means how is the meeting going to begin. So I'm going to choose participant video off, meaning when the students arrive, their video will start as off in case they're trying to be distracting or something, but they will be able to turn their video on moments after so that they can fully engage in the class. Audio, both. Meeting options, enable join before host. This means if I haven't started the meeting yet, students can still quote unquote arrive to the meeting, but they will be held in the waiting room. So we want to enable both of these. The only thing we really want to avoid is having this enabled and this disabled. This would be a bad situation because it means students could join your meeting without you there and engage with one another and unobservably perhaps participate in inappropriate behavior. So I'm going to re-enable waiting room. Mute participants upon entry, always a good idea. Authenticated users, this means that only users who have signed into a Zoom account can join. Note, all Friends Seminary faculty, all Friends Seminary students have a Zoom account associated with them. So for anyone, this will not exclude any of your students, but you can choose whether or not to enable this. I'm not familiar right off the top of my head whether this is required for upper school. I will say that if you want to do breakout room pre-assign, and there's another tutorial for that later, you'll definitely want to enable this. For this, I'm going to record the meeting automatically in the cloud because all of my classes are going to be recorded in the cloud, and we're ready to save. Boom. The meeting has been saved. If I go to my meetings list again, you can see my recurring meetings. I have my history class and my Algebra 1 class, and they're just going to hang out here right on the top. And whenever I'm ready to start the meeting, boom, I click on start. One thing I want to let you know is for any meeting, you can click on it and you can choose to edit the meeting if there's anything you want to edit. You can add questions to any polls in advance of the meeting. We'll attend to that in a future tutorial. And one thing that could be really helpful is to copy the invitation to this meeting. Right, here's all the information. It has the Zoom link, the password, how to dial in. You can copy this meeting invitation or just parts of it and put that on your learning management system page. You can email it to students. You can distribute it to whomever you want for them to engage with your meeting. So that's really key, being able to share especially the meeting link and password. Last thing I'll note is with one click, you can add this to Google Calendar. Really helpful for your own organizational purposes. And you can also quickly add guests. Maybe if I want to invite Will Hopkins, I can add them here, and by clicking save, it will save the meeting to your Google Calendar and invite those people to the meeting. And again, last thing I'll say is by scheduling this meeting with no fixed time, it means whenever I want to start that meeting, all I've got to do is press start and the meeting will begin. Hey everyone, good morning. Okay, thanks so much. I hope you found this helpful and I hope you enjoyed.